Okay, so now welcome to part 5 of this session. Here I am going to discuss about few issues that you can face when mother is breastfeeding. There are few problems that we experience in the field, and I do want you to kind of know and understand what are the solutions for those problems. Okay. So starting from 45 points of counseling, first thing in cross-cradle hold, because it is not a hold which has been kind of practiced a lot in the field. Most of these mothers, they do not know this hold, to be frank. So I do recommend that to teach this mother as early as possible. So during pregnancy, say in last trimester of pregnancy, if you can show this tutorial, 2 tutorials of cross-cradle hold and latching, not only show them these 2 tutorials, but also kind of keep a breast model. So you can make this breast model. We will also kind of create a tutorial on this, how to make it. You can make it, you can also use socks, put some cloth in it, and you can be very innovative. There are some tutorials or some YouTube videos available on how to make artificial breast, and then also buy like a really good baby doll like this, make sure that it is at least 19 inches, 19 to 20 inches, so that is long enough. Do not buy very short ones, because then it will be difficult for you to kind of teach mothers how to kind of put the baby in a right correct position. Okay. So here problem with problem that you will face in the field is because mothers do not know this technique. So it takes a little bit longer to train them. Okay, because what they have to do, they have to unlearn what they have learned before, and of course if the cradle hold is working fine, and if you can get that correct latch with cradle hold, please go ahead, there is no doubt about it, please go ahead. But what we have seen in a lot of the studies that we have done at a district level, in our program also, that if the cross cradle was hold, definitely the neck extension was much better, all that I will explain to you what were the issues that we were facing with cradle hold, and then you will understand that why I am pressing on cross cradle hold so much. So what happens in cradle hold, actually that is a traditional hold. So the reason children were not gaining good amount of weight, in my opinion, is that most of the time because the baby is held with the same hand. Okay. So here what happens, a baby does not have any, and baby would come like this. This is how most of the time babies are held in a cradle hold. Okay. Now what happens, here in this position, baby's neck is kind of bent forward, because baby do not have any space to move the head backward. So what is happening here, kind of neck is getting pressed downward, because this elbow is kind of blocking baby's extension of neck. Okay. So in this position, what I generally saw, that baby had a flexion of neck. Okay. Second thing what I noticed, that in this position, because if you look at it, most of the time the upper illa goes more in the mouth, because in this position the nose is much higher when it comes to nipple than the lower. So here when the baby opens the mouth, more of a upper illa goes into the mouth than the lower. If you really want to have a lower illa in the mouth, what you need to do with this cradle hold, you have to really bring the baby like this, and allow the baby to kind of get that head backward, and this position is very very awkward for the mother. You can imagine, see this is the position, and another thing is here the legs are not supported. Okay. Head is also not supported, it is just sitting on the angle of the of the elbow. So this is probably, there are few more reasons that we felt that it was not comfortable for the baby and the mother to be in this position. So what happens is, again if you are using the cross cradle hold, here still look at this. Now you have a full body kind of support, beautiful extension of the neck, okay, extension of the head, and then baby can latch on beautifully. Okay, so this is how this is a beautiful, that is what we notice in our program, that mother, once she learned properly, she had lot more confidence, and then she could baby was much more relaxed, baby could get milk just within few minutes, 5, 6, 7 minutes, sometime the latch is good, and if they were hungry, the milk transfer was happening, because we could see amazing weight gain, almost 50 to 60 grams weight gain per day. Okay. So here again, to unlearn from this, to this, and what again in cradle hold, most of the mothers, they hold the breast like this. Okay, more of a C shape. So the thumb comes at 12 o'clock, and lower fingers, the index finger come at 6 o'clock. And here in this position, what happens, the way baby holds the breast is like this. So when you suppose eating a vada pav or burger, and if you are holding, if your fingers are perpendicular to the lip, so this is your lip, okay, this is your lip, and now your fingers are perpendicular, not parallel but perpendicular, then you will not be able to have a big bite. Okay. So in this position, if you look at I want you to observe those mothers breastfeeding and see how they breastfeed first, always observe, so that you will know where they are going wrong. So in this position, babies are basically diagonal most of the time. Okay. And then mother is holding the breast in a C shape. So here the lips are not parallel to baby's mother's fingers. Lips are perpendicular to baby's finger. In this position, most of the time nipple goes in the mouth, okay, and maybe a little bit of upper areola, but I hardly ever saw good lower areola latch in this position. Okay. So that is your first point, is to make mother unlearn, and the best time to make her understand this concept is not after delivery, because after delivery it is already, she is going through so much of all this hormonal problems, pain, lot of these people around her, nurses are telling her few things, doctors are saying some things, mother and mother-in-law will say that, oh, you are not getting enough milk, ye karo, wo karo, she is so confused. So the best time to teach her is not post delivery, the best time to teach her is during pregnancy, during last trimester. Let her understand what are these 45 points, let her understand the concept, okay, of what different points that we are mentioning, and then let her practice on the baby doll and the breast model, let her practice it. Okay. Once she delivers, of course, as I mentioned in my other tutorials, that breast crawl is important, breast crawl during cesarean section is important. So all that will be taken care of by doctors and nurses, but if mothers know all these points, she will demand for it. She has to demand. If you do not demand, doctors will not do it. So tell her to demand for it, tell her to tell doctors that I want to breastfeed as soon as baby is born, tell her that she needs support. Most of the time, team, they do not know this cross-cradle and 45 points. So she has to be, what I recommend is to not only teach her but teach the whole family. Okay. So teach grandmother, like her mother-in-law, mother, husband or sister-in-law, whoever are going to be there with her, they all need to learn, because believe me, after delivery it is them who will be helping mothers. Okay. If sisters and doctors are there, if they know proper technique, I will be very happy, but unfortunately we this technique has not been taken up by many doctors. Okay. So anyway, so the first point is, as I mentioned, that mother has to understand during before delivery, after delivery, then she is going to be there in the hospital for say 24 to 48 hours. Okay. So I do recommend that every time that she kind of breastfeed, she needs to remember those 45 points. So I kind of recommend that she should have those 45 point PDF, those charts with her, so that even if she does not have any support, she can just look at those charts and remember what she has learnt during pregnancy, and she can follow those points and she can practice on the baby. Also, if mothers and mother-in-laws, if they know this 45 points, they can help her, they can burp the baby, they can help mother with rest with different holds, sideline hold, other hold. Okay. So that is important. Alright. So now couple of points that you will see that mother will struggle with. Okay. This is one point which you will definitely see, that mothers do not kind of tuck baby's kind of legs in the armpit. So, make sure that you teach her completely. The example that I give for this particular point is that women, they lot of time when they go out, they carry this clutch purse. Clutch purse, it is just a small purse, and they hold it very tight. So, I always give this example that if you are holding the clutch, would you hold the clutch like this, or would you let that clutch fall down? And they will say no, I mean, women are very kind of possessive about the purses. So, I always say the same thing. I said, if you are so possessive about your clutch, this is your baby, you do not want the baby to slide down. So, I tell mothers to hold the legs very tightly, okay, and then put it in underarm, and then hold it tightly, and then let that hip little bit sit in front like this. So, that hip is sitting. So, in this position what will happen, that legs will not slip, because if it is not kind of tucked properly, slowly that leg will slip down. Okay. So, I tell mothers to make baby sit. So, if suppose baby is sitting like this, so this would be the position. So, if I just pull the baby out, this is the position that baby is sitting. Okay. And this is how normally also we would love to sit and eat, right. We want to kind of be as comfortable as position in this position. So, here if I just put this baby back again, okay, and then just let that baby sit. So, this is the position that I am. Yeah, this is the position. Now, baby is sitting. Okay. And one more point which is again I see all the time is fingers. Fingers are always kind of put like this. Please remember that fingers should be kind of at the back of the ears on that mastoid bone. Okay. So, this is important. And one more thing which I always see, that baby is brought so far kind of lateral towards this side, that whenever baby opens the mouth, to have the breast in the mouth, baby has to bend the neck forward. Okay. So, do not do this, do not basically bend, do not allow baby to bend the neck forward. Okay. So, in this position what you want to do, you tell mother to bring the baby a little bit towards the other side, this way. Here in this position, when the nose is a little bit lower than the nipple, then you can basically try to lift the neck forward, okay, here this way, and then we can open the mouth, and then the lower part of the areola can go in the mouth. So, this is very important, that where you are bringing the again I am going to repeat, because many times what I see, when they bring the baby to the breast, this neck is completely either straight like this, or it is like this, okay, either bent forward or it is straight. That is wrong. Both this position of the neck is wrong. You want the neck of the position, neck of the baby to be in a slightly extended position, slightly in other thing. So, for that you will have to pull the baby more towards the other side of the where the legs are. Okay, and then it would be easy for the baby to extend the neck. Okay. So, here then baby is coming from lower down and then attaching. Okay. Alright. Then third point which I always see the problem is, baby is kind of brought correctly, but mother tends to have a C shape. She tends to hold the breast by C shape, and this is so common because she is taught that way, she has seen everybody doing that. Now, this will completely kind of allow baby to have only nipple, not the lower latch. So, remember not to hold C shape. In C shape, your fingers are not parallel to baby's lips in this position, okay, because in this position the lips are vertical. Okay. So, you will have to put your fingers either up in a vertical position, okay, like this, or in a lower down in this position, and make sure that this dip of the U shape is more at 6 o'clock. So, bring your hand closer to you. So, then it will be easier. If it is like this, if it is kind of extended, then what will happen that your dip is going more towards 5 o'clock, okay, on left hand side. Okay. So, just bring your hand little bit closer. So, here it is over here, I am bringing it closer, and then only the tip, not the whole thing, only the tip, and it should be 3 fingers away from the nipple. Okay. Only the tip, and you see it is exactly U, it should not be V shape, it should not be V. Okay. It should not be full breast holding the I do not want full finger to be on the breast, just a tip, not the full finger like this, okay, not like this, this becomes V. It should be just a tip and bend beautifully in a round shape, okay, and pressing the breast, okay, because otherwise that finger will come in the way and baby will not be able to have a good areolar latch, low areolar latch, okay. Alright, so that is done. Now third thing which I always see is when mother is kind of holding the breast and then she keeps holding it, so just tell her that once the latch is good, you examine the latch. She forgets to examine. This is another point which is very important. You tell her, you examine the latch, 3-4 points that she has to see. First point, how big is the mouth, okay. Second point is whether lower areolar latch is there or not. So for that she has to see where is the lower lip of the baby, which is at the border of lower areola and on the breast. Third thing is both lip and the chin should be embedded into breast. She should not be able to see it, because if she is seeing that lip and the chin, that means it is too far, okay. And another thing what I want you to do is, once that is done, then she has to bring that hand and put it around. Do not leave this hand over here from the neck, otherwise baby will detach and then again will become a nipple latch, okay. So that is important. Remember that it has to be just baby mother holding the hip of the baby, okay, like this. Alright, so this is done. These are the skills that I see a lot of issue with, and if you teach her proper skills and if you know what problems that you may face in the field, and if you know the solution, it will be much easier for mother and the baby to have a proper breastfeeding success, okay. And there are some content that you already know. Do ask mothers, because if you do not ask them or if you do not teach them, you will not know what the issue is, okay. So the questions, as I said, that how many times she is feeding during daytime, does she know early hunger cues or not. So instead of daytime I ask about 24 hours, because a lot of time the daytime becomes very kind of confusing. So I do ask mothers in 24 hours how many times you feed, 10 to 12 times. Night time, out of that night time how many times she feeds, so I recommend at least 3 to 4 times. Another thing about the hind milk, do spend good 10 minutes talking about hind milk, okay. Do spend 10 minutes explaining how to express breast milk, press, compress, release. It is called PCR, remember PCR, press, compress, release, okay. Look for whether the milk is watery or thick, okay. Watery milk will basically, if mother is giving only watery milk, that baby will not put on weight, okay, and then baby will pass urine because water is going in, but the thick milk, that hind milk, fatty milk is not going in, okay. So that baby will have difficulty putting on weight. So do think about those important points, that why baby is not putting on weight, okay. Another thing also I see a lot of issues in the field is they do not breastfeed on both sides, or they would feed on both sides, but little bit over here, little bit over there. So they are getting only for milk, in both the breast, the babies are not getting hind milk. So tell her to completely empty on one side, examine whether she has fore milk or hind milk given completely, then go on the other side, okay. Many times even if baby is fed on other side, baby can still feed on the third time again on the first spread. There is another point which I want to discuss is alternate your breast. For example, suppose in first feeding you give this side first and then you give this, okay. After hour and a half baby woke up, then what you want to do is to feed on this side first and then go on this side. So you alternate, because what happens when the baby feeds first few minutes, that sucking is very hard. So that breast will get empty very fast, okay. So what we do is we tell mothers alternate, first time give this first, then in second feeding give this, then a third feeding give this side first, again it is alternate, okay. So both sides get equal stimulation, otherwise a lot of time what happens, we see mothers who just, a lot of time they come and tell us that, oh, baby prefers to breastfeed on right side only, okay. So we tell them no, because left side is difficult, you teach baby how to feed on left side first. So when baby is hungry, they will learn, they will cry, but you have to teach them. So in those conditions we tell mothers to try to feed on the difficult side first, let baby learn and then she can basically alternate. Okay. So, that is another important point which is really important. And there are other things about nose. So, nose is another thing which a lot of mothers are very afraid of. Okay. Do not freak out. If you freak out, then mothers will freak out. You teach them that your baby's nose is getting pressed like this, not like this, so nothing to worry about. But if you are worried, then you can just kind of here suppose baby's nose is getting pressed, you just lift up the neck backward little bit like this. So, the nose kind of comes off the breast and the chin will go more deeper into the breast. Okay. But what I notice in our technique, from beginning we bring the baby like this. Okay. If we bring the baby directly immediately like this, say in a extended neck position, then we do not have a problem of nose suppression or nose compression at all. Okay. Here if baby is brought like this or baby is brought like this, in this situation the nose will get compressed. So, again observe the baby and the mother, and if you know the nose is getting compressed, that means baby is not landed properly. Baby is landed just directly on the breast straight like it, not like this. Babies come just like this or maybe like this. Okay. So, these are a few points, if you remember, I think you will do well. Again, if you kind of face any problem in the field, feel free to contact us and we will be more than happy to answer your questions. Okay. Thank you.